Welcome to Center of Light. There we go. You sexy human creatures. It's about being clear. I will never stop doing that. Maybe not as much, but it's about being clear. Tonight is Center of Light. Y'all, I need some elbow room. Tonight is Center of Light. Elbow room. Boundaries. Let's see what's happening in the forum. I love saying hi to people. Andrea Forrest. What's up, Dre? Phyllis Glenn. Trisha Perkins. Heather? Yeah, disappeared really quick. Kelly's on YouTube, I believe. Dolores is on YouTube. Dolores, I am going to be sending you your CDs really soon. Monday. Thank you for your patience. I really enjoyed my time with you. So everyone, I'm going to complain a little bit. This ear has been clogged. So today, before the presentation instead of after, I decided to put some peroxide, which is really good for earwax. I get earwax because I use headphones when I do interviews. And so this one is not yet processed, and it's a pain in the process. I feel unbalanced. I feel leaning hard on the left and just not in the center. So I'm going to do what I can to be centered and not splintered for tonight. It's good to see you, Sana. Hi. Let me look once again on YouTube. All right. Tonight is Center of Light Elbow Room. Boundaries. They are not what you think. Actually, they're exactly what you think. That you need them in the first place. I understand the idea of boundaries. But are you really protecting yourself with said boundary? Simple question, powerful question. Someone breaks in your house, spiritually, metaphysically, I'm not saying, don't protect your space, your perimeter, your place, your boundary. That's not what I'm saying. Ultimately, it is still what I'm saying because it always comes back to you. Maybe I should have changed that lock. Not out of protection, but out of being responsible. We're going to be talking about protection here in a little bit. And it's going to grab you by the boo-boo because it's not what you think. So ultimately, it comes back to said person. I do want to make a post really quick. I have to, I want to, I deserve to, which is where you can order this 30-year gem in the works. Where you can find my new bestseller, Homecoming: Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. If you've read it, now go to the same link and leave me a review. Do that for me, please. I'm still looking at my notes. I truly feel off kilter because of this ear being clogged. I know the metaphysical and the spiritual lessons I'm molding over them as well. Let's see what's happening. Tonight is Center of Light Elbow Room. Boundaries. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. This came to me this morning. It felt very prophetic. I'm not claiming to be a prophet. I'm just using this as a marker, a record. Hence the question mark. What I got this morning very prominently was Brendan or Brandon, more likely Brendan, whatever that is, December 29th through 31st, maybe that's a window, or maybe that's an event duration, and the word is green. Don't know why. Just throwing it out there. Center of Light Elbow Room. Get out of my space, y'all. Step back. Get back to where you once belonged. Get back, JoJo. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Get back. You're crowding me. I have no breathing room. As long as there's room in your chest cavity, you have breathing room. Remember that. What is in here is greater than the capacity out here can ever touch, ever. So again, tonight is Center of Light boundaries, breathing room. Remember that the walls you build to keep others out are the same walls you have built to imprison yourself. Hello, Rebecca. What a beautiful little boy you have. Bean. Reminds me of my son, who's now 15 and a half, but when he was Bean's age, one of those fat little grab and kiss bite cheeks. What a precious little boy. Remember that the walls you put up to keep other people out are the same walls you have built, erected to imprison yourself. Well, Keith, it's just, in practicality, you can't just not protect yourself. Oh, I get it. But what I want you to do is get with it what I'm going to offer to you as a way. I got something in my eye, excuse me. As a way to protect yourself without protecting yourself out of fear. Well, Keith, I'm a very conscious, illumined individual. I know what I'm doing. Fantastic. Tell me what you got. Show me how you did it. Let's just be careful. Hello, where are my prayer warriors? Someone I love is sick. And then you get hundreds of people jumping on the let me help my loved one train unconsciously. There is enough compassion, regardless of who shares, even in their unconsciousness, to add to the ticket or the tally of what you are trying to achieve, to ask for your prayer warriors to show up. But also know, the tally is weighed out honestly, or is it voter fraud? It's not. The universe is always just like you. It is you. So the question I pose, Center of Light, I need some elbow room, y'all. I get it. I made some very unconscious choices in my past where I needed elbow room from certain events, people, situations. Boundaries. What are boundaries? It's gonna sting. It stung me quite often in my past. But I finally got the joke. I got the riddle. I got the aha. Ah, I get it. Of it all, so there's no need to repeat it. Sometimes it does repeat itself, but I'm getting better at the process. Remember, those walls you put up to protect yourself from other people are the same walls you put up to keep yourself imprisoned. Now, what you do with that, don't come to a conclusion. What I'm asking you to do is to do an infusion of both those ideas so that the real you can rise through. It's not a choice. You're not the being having a choice. You are a being with a very powerful, infinite voice to say, who is this person that has been convinced that I only have one or two choices? How, as an infinite being, that you can only have two choices? Right? This is where it's going to start to sting. All right, call up any person, any experience, any event in your life, and honestly, that you need boundaries. You need to protect yourself from a said something. You always have the right to self-defense. But when said experience is over, it is yours to be responsible to mold over what just happened and say, I understand where I've created this as to why I brought this to me tonight to where this thing went down. You have the right to immediate protection of yourself from someone violating, not invading. Invading implies I'm slowly coming, but I'm definitely coming. Violating implies violence. That is your birthright. But it's still required of any of us to, as we move forward, to go back to say, where did I leave a hole? And I don't mean a wholeness, but a hole in my consciousness to allow something to seep in and violently invade myself. That's what's required. But boundaries are not that what you think. Well, Keith, I have a boundary. I'm saying, you better not come into my life. And I'm telling you what you're saying is, you better come into my life to show me how much I want to say. You better not come into my life. So what happens here? Now what happens is, we understand level one, you better not come into my life. And you coming into my life after I told you, you better not come into my life, graduates to level three, which is, I'm here to remind you how important it is for you to tell me, you better not come into my life. I got a wall built. The same wall I am building to keep you out is the same wall I am using to imprison myself. So there is no end to that conundrum. Done. Boundaries are a mental construct, are they not? I understand the importance of you wanting to be in your sovereignty, but it's still a mental construct. It's never a heart construct. It's a mental construct because when you set your boundary with someone, as you look around yourself in that supposed perimeter, do you see the circle that you have drawn? No, you don't. You have drawn too many conclusions about what you think the boundary that you have set actually is. It's all in your head. Instead, find something different because it's not really protecting you. There is a lot of pseudo spirituality out there. I ain't pointing fingers. I am not judging. I am happy that the word spirituality fits into that formula anywhere. What I am offering and suggesting is that you find, even in my own pseudoism, that you find yourself using only myself and anyone else as springboards to your actual self. So don't kid yourself. The boundaries you are trying to create to protect yourself are exactly that. They are boundaries you are creating to protect yourself from something that wants to come into your experience. Why are you starting trouble for yourself? That's exactly what you're doing. You're creating potential trouble for yourself by creating boundaries. Why do you need boundaries? From who? Who are you protecting yourself from? Who? Rhetorical question. Don't even answer the question. It's not important that you answer it. Who are you trying to protect yourself from? Could it possibly be an unconscious part of yourself? You know, the same person, you, that wasn't consciously aware to see the red flags allowing you to make a different choice than rather dating your soon-to-be ex-partner that won't leave you alone. See what I mean? Oh, that's got a sting. Do you see? Hello, Wendy. Hello, Peter Coyle. Rebecca. So do you see? Who are you protecting yourself from? You're protecting yourself from your own unconscious choice previously that didn't see the red flags because you wanted something so much that you were willing to gamble with whatever came in the form of baggage. I get it. I've done it many times. I like a good trip and I bring lots of my own luggage. And sometimes when we just shrug it off, it shows up as new luggage. And they won't let you on the airplane. You got to check those bags, sir, ma'am. So who are you protecting yourself from? Your unconscious self that made a choice some time back. So now in front of coming back to yourself, you look at the tomfoolery that you did. You rectify that. That becomes your boundary. Not because you're setting out a boundary to protect yourself. The boundary happens in the power of who you are. Wow! You become the rock star. I'm a little guy. I'm a little runt. 5'5". And I'm exaggerating. No pun intended. A little. There's a lot of bang to me. I don't protect myself. I am me fully. I have enough awareness, resources, friends, power at my disposal. I don't go anywhere afraid. I don't need a boundary when I go into a said neighborhood that is not friendly and it's known for. Because if you get out of the car, because you need gas now and you have no choice but to go to this store, you automatically find yourself setting forth a boundary, do you not? I don't trust this neighborhood. Well, I get it. You're aware and conscious and cautious. That's called responsibility. But, oh my God, I'm scared to death. I really don't want to be in this neighborhood. You're not setting up a boundary in your fear thinking that that's what you're doing. What you are doing is ensuing riot. And it won't be quiet. It will come in the form of violence. You're protecting yourself from your own unconscious behavior. But when you perfect yourself and erect yourself into this new place of recognizing why you brought past experiences into your life, you know, those ones that you don't trust anymore because you're scared to death when you have to step in them. You don't need boundaries. Your being is the boundary that does not allow hoopla and shenanigans and folly and tomfoolery into your experience. This is true boundaries. You want center of light elbow room? Trust me when I tell you, the elbow room you are seeking is not actually elbow room. It's so that when I'm freely myself, I have elbow room. There's nothing encumbering me. There's nothing blocking me. There's nothing I have to put up boundaries and use my elbow as a karate strike and key up to strike something. Anna Bradenback, I strongly suggest, if you get on YouTube and look up Anna Bradenback, it's one of those Norwegian, Nordic names. Anna Bradenback, Breidnbach kind of thing. And look up, it's about a black leopard. Anna Bradenback, spirit animal whisperer Diablo. It will blow you away. She says, tonight is center of light, elbow room, boundaries. She says, she does. She can go in the ocean in a shark-infested waters. No joke. Do the research. And when she goes into shark-infested waters, wouldn't you think there would naturally be fear as we would believe? Hello, Lee, Kelly Bird, Pamela. Wouldn't we think that when we jump into shark-infested waters, if you're a fool enough or conscious enough to do so, but unconsciously, if we would just do something stupid to jump in waters that are known to have sharks, wouldn't you think naturally we would be, I'm afraid, which we would be. But in that fear, the illusion is I'm protecting myself. My fear is convincing me that I'm aware, and actually you're not. You're unconscious. She says that putting up a boundary is the reason to attract something into your life to convince you that you are right, that you had to put up a boundary. You are not protecting yourself. So I'm going to put up a boundary to keep my ex-partner out or this bad thing away from me. I'm spiritual and I'm oming myself into a space of protection. That's exactly what you are doing. You're oming yourself into a space of protection. It is sort of an illusion. In many ways, actually. Who are you protecting yourself from? Your ignorance is what you are protecting yourself from. We are all protecting ourselves, or trying to at least, from our own ignorance. Because in wisdom and information is power. When you have power, what can you be afraid of? I know how to swim. I'm not afraid of water. I know how to this, so I'm not afraid of that. I'm not really sure of what that is, so I have fear. So I'm going to send out this false, illusory boundary thinking it's going to protect you. But when you are afraid, you are not protecting yourself from that which you are afraid of. What you are doing is you are exciting, aggravating, agitating the very thing that you are afraid of to bring it into your experience right then and right there. Because when you are in fear, is it not real? Is that not reality for you in the moment as to why it's got you by the boo-boo? It's got you. It's the big carrot that you bit and you hunkered in. Now you have to release yourself from hanging on. I understand bad partners, and I had many, so I ain't pigeonholing it to anyone. It's the choices I made. It does not mean that I made a choice to be with people who are bad people. And what it's saying is I made an unconscious choice to try to become compatible with someone I'm simply just not compatible with, and vice versa. I understand immediate protection, self-defense. Even so, in hindsight, one needs to look back, look up, look forward, rather look in to ever move forward, to understand that when you erect a boundary around you, you are saying, please send me the reason I am putting up this wall. And in so doing, you are not liberated at all. Because nor can you venture out. If you venture into John or Jane Doe's territory, the one you're protecting yourself from, so they don't enter yours, if you climbed that very same wall of imprisonment to try to go into a bar or restaurant where your ex-partner is, you feel all squirmy, wiggly, and uncomfortable. I don't. I will go sit at your table and buy you all a beer. So I have no need to set a boundary. Some people say, my ex-partner's here, I feel uncomfortable, let's go. That's okay. How about I am me, and in my being me is no one is ever going to come into my experience. Because if we are not compatible, the reason I made that unconscious choice with someone I'm not compatible with never would have happened. Or maybe your ex-partner shifted as well and y'all wave at each other and say, y'all want to bring the tables together? And everybody has a celebration. So who are we ultimately protecting ourselves from? If we understood who walks by us 24/7 for infinity, we will never be afraid again. The protection is already built into the system. It's inherent, it's imbued, it's infused. Somewhere along the line, we all got confused. And we look at the bruise, we win, lose, but when we choose to do exactly what we need to do, there is no boundary necessary. It requires to become consciously available. Just simply being me. I'm available. I'm available for those things I'm trying to protect myself from to not happen, but rather I'm just simply available. Watch those boundaries you set. Not only will they imprison you, They will bring reasons into your experience why you wish you would be behind bars, said wall, said boundary, to protect you from said thing that you have been profiting to the universe to say, please protect me from this thing because I know it's coming. And when it shows up, you say, you see, I knew I needed to set this barrier of light around me so that someone would not harm me. Different barrier altogether in it. More powerful in it. It's another level. Let's see what's happening. Lynn Patsy. Hi, Lynn Patsy. Wendy says, human nature, fear. How do you reverse? Great question. Hanging on to lingering anger can cause this. Wendy, you said human nature, fear. How do you reverse? You don't. How do you reverse? You don't reverse. Why would anyone, and I'm using your words, and so I'm reading into your words. How do you reverse? Good question. So in other words, what you're saying, because you care and you want to be responsible, how do I change this rather? But the words you use are important. But this is not only speaking about you, this is about speaking about the word reverse in general. How do you reverse from such human nature folly? You don't. Because in the word reverse in and of itself implies a walking of backwards of things. In fact, also in reversing implies an effort to do something, to change something. So it requires muscle, it requires intention, attention, focus. So I have to exert somehow. So, but to use your word in another way, how do you reverse the madness, if you will, is be that powerful self. Because in the unpowerful self, isn't that the one aspect of ourselves that has caused the problem in the first place? And our unconsciousness to not be able to see the red flags. So there's nothing to reverse, really. There's nothing to revolt. It's just simply seeing that I've just been unconscious. Now the work's done. Okay, now it requires me to be conscious. You're not efforting, you're not picking up tools and hammering stuff. Oh, wow, I've just been unconscious. I need to be more aware of the universal signs just saying, this is your choice. I'm just simply trying to get your attention to say, are you sure this is the choice you want to make? And sometimes we want something so bad, we will take the luggage. And then later we try to shruggage it off. Can't do it. So I'm going to create a boundary because I don't trust people like you. I don't trust men. I don't trust women. I don't trust this. I don't trust that. And we keep going for those same scenarios. Why? Because the lesson is not complete. And so we try to create boundaries for ourselves to keep those very people from entering into our lives that when they do, we choose it over and over and over and over. Red Rover, send John or Gildo right over. What boundaries are you setting? Ultimately, it's you. You don't trust the choices you make. I've lived that reality for a very, 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 I can keep on, infinity, very long time. You don't have to like what's happening in the moment. In fact, you don't have to worry about it. You won't like what's happening in the moment. In that moment, you can choose your power, second, minute, or hour, or it can literally devour you. To put up boundaries. And use the foundry, the mechanics, the machinery, the iron, the grit, the tenacity, the muster, the cojones, the muscles, the passion. And you can erect a wall all you want. And those people that you don't want in your life will find a way to climb it. And it will become you climb it. How has you erecting walls and putting up boundaries in your life worked for you? Are people not still evading what you've been putting out? Are they still not climbing those walls as to why you keep finding new ways on YouTube and gurus to keep out negativity in your life? What negativity are you keeping out? It's denial. You're in denial. If you're trying to keep negativity of any sort away from you, out of your life, step back. Get back to where you once belong. Get back. It's denial. There's no negativity in your life except you. Now, I understand and playing the human game and throwing down all my human cards, and I want to make a bet on these cards. There's also cards that are not visible yet. Until I see that, I don't know the whole game. And the whole game requires all of us to understand the object and to play the game fairly without cheating. It's called the game of life. Milton Bradley. You advance. Or do you? Like chutes and ladders. You get on a chute, down you go. Only to climb up other ladders. What really matters is if you understand that there is no negativity in your life that has not been brought forth by unconscious choices from anyone's past, to where they try to put up boundaries and use foundries to build and erect walls with steel. Who are you protecting yourself from? There's lots of spiritual pseudo nonsense out there. The word spiritual to any teaching is gorgeous. There's always more. If you think there's more, then there has to be more. And part of that more is being more-ish to understand. I understand immediate protection. I lock my doors at night just like everybody else. But I also work daily, diligently, earnestly to find out this aspect of myself that lives unconscious, so that maybe one day I move to a place in the country or into the Himalayan caves where not only do I need to not lock my doors, there are no doors. So this is part of the process for all of us to reach the level of forever to where everything is beautiful always. Reach the level in the land of forever where everything is beautiful always. Reach the land of forever where everything is beautiful always. Who are you protecting yourself from? If you have to be in a place where you feel there can potentially be trouble, depending on the location and the mindset of the people who live and operate there, I get that. That's common sense. It's the law of common sense. I'm using my awareness and my abilities and my faculty to say, there's a dense vibration here. So what you do is you up yours beyond the vibration. Not out of protecting yourself, because in so doing, you are lowering your vibration to protect yourself from said low vibration, because you have erected a wall. What you do is you erect yourself. You simply erect yourself. You be in yourself completely and wholly from soul to bones. You walk out to that grocery store and you say, "What's up?" You hold the door open for people. You show them exactly who you are. There is no boundary. In fact, what there is unity. You create boundaries and that separation. That's what's been the reason for war since the beginning of war. My tribe, your tribe, ugh, go kill, go kill. The separation. When clans unite, they don't fight. They unite. They enlight. So when I go to places that are potentially for other people dangerous, I don't see fear. I don't see separation. I hold the door open. I start talking with the people around me immediately. "Hey, bro, you need some help with your car?" He's sitting there fidgeting with the engine. Who are you protecting yourself from? Be careful. And you're protecting yourself from something. Ultimately, you're protecting yourself from yourself. But even more so, be careful. It should give you the opportunity to see exactly how powerful you really are. Rockstar. So what you do is you ease into your reality instead of reverse. The human nature of the humans, because actually human nature is not something that should be reversed. By nature in and of itself, it should be pushed forward very fast. Smooth, consistently, but very fast as to what we need right here, right now, in this world. Human nature is beautiful. Many people, and I understand it's a slang term or a common term, that human nature always is negative. Well, that's human nature for you. That's really not human nature for you. Human nature is always for you, for the greater good of human itself. That's the nature of the divine. Being fully human is divine in and of itself. But you have to find yourself in that. And you will never do it by erecting walls. Trying to get center of light elbow room. Give me some room, bruh. I get it. Sometimes you and said person deserve. Give me some room, bruh. But also knowing in your elbowing, maybe you can simply start by realizing you chose to be in said place where you said, I need some room. And so when you come to that level of grace and realization of oneself, maybe a little more allowing, we can let someone be in our space by saying, instead of get out of my space or give me some room, you say, oh, excuse me, by all means, pass. Changes the whole experience when you go to the grocery store in said bad part of town, doesn't it? It's all self-ignited, self-invited. What are you protecting yourself from? Now, Wendy Parker is being flat out freaking honest, and I want to honor her for it. See, this is exactly, Wendy, this is it. You are doing exactly what this lesson is teaching. She says, no, I don't trust myself to make decisions, so I set boundaries. My God, girl. What you just did exemplifies everything I just said. 1 second. I want to change the music. It's worthy of changing the music. You said exactly the point of this presentation. And I'm so happy for you, because in that you will find a new liberation when you practice what you just preached. I love it. It's gorgeous. I don't trust myself to make decisions, so I set boundaries. That is the absolute truth for all of us. If you trust your power in decision making and had a very absolute, clear, conscious understanding of how reality moves, is made, none of us would have to create boundaries. That person over there wants me to go out with them. Something says, you're seeing correctly. Well, it's been a long time since I've been out with anyone. And so you get lucky on the first night. So you start dating. 5 years later, you call in the cops for protection, a restraining order. I'm making fun. We shouldn't make light of it because it's funny what we do to ourselves. So Wendy, you see it. You're not just admitting it. You're not just agreeing. You see it. The agreement you are making is with yourself to not set boundaries, but to become consciously aware. You have shifted from this level to this level. You've admitted to all of us and yourself, I set boundaries because I don't trust my decision-making skills. Now you've seen and gleaned what it takes to have decision-making skills. Okay, Keith, I hear you. So what are these awareness practices or techniques that you use so I can now begin to do that? You don't. You just did it. That's it. You just become aware that you have been making unconscious choices. So in that in and of itself, the next time you recognize that there's a situation, a major decision you make in your life, you may go unconscious in making the decision, but something inside, and it's going to be me sitting on your shoulder reminding you when you do, don't forget to be aware. And now you look at the situation, you go, oh, wait. This is very tantalizing, fanciful, exciting. Do I really want to step in that experience? You've changed the rest of your life by the very next decision and or choice you make that is life-changing. Congratulations, Wendy. That is what true spiritual expansion, development, and growth is exactly about. Seeing something. It's me. Who am I protecting myself from? It's me. I see it clearly. And therefore, thee can now do the work. And like I said, there is no work to do. You don't reverse it. You traverse it. You walk right into it and you look at it and it says, wow, I've been trying to get your attention for so long. Thank you for finally recognizing me. And it leaves you alone. Who are you protecting yourself from? I understand immediate self-defense. Ultimately, we're trying to get to a place to where we are liberated. My brothers, Peter Coyle says, spiritual talking is in the meaning, it's like into darkness, enter life, love conquers all, so no mistake. Trisha says, I get that. Don't be in that vibration of the walls. The fear of it flows in the vibration of love, which is higher. Well, Keith, this sounds like airy-fairy, spiritual cliche, pseudo-nonsense. Okay, how does it feel to be you? And if it feels great to be you, then it shows me the airy-fairy, spiritual pseudo-nonsense I've been dwelling in, compared to what you explained to me that you live in. Please give me some. I want some of what you got. I want to see greater. Congratulations, Wendy. That's a monumental shift. And guess what? There is no turning back. You can't unrealize what you just realized. A dog is coming at you, a pit bull Rottweiler, and he wants to eat some of your human flesh ass. You don't just sit there and try to be Mr. or Mrs. Spiritual. You don't sit there and start oming, or do you? Do you have that kind of confidence to own your reality away? Fantastic. Again, give me some. I want some of what you got. Human nature is to figure out, not necessarily run, maybe to be larger, grab something, to show your force, stay in your course, of course. But you can never divorce yourself from the experience that is going down. You have to go in, to go up, to go forward, to go toward. This applies all across the board. It is your light sword for the rest of your life. You Jedi, you. Look, there's a force that's all around you. It should profound you, the power that you wield in your hand. Tonight is center of light. Elbow room. Boundaries. What are you protecting yourself from? You can think of many things. Close your eyes. They'll all be like they're waiting in line to a payphone booth to call you. They'll tell you, well, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. Some people go as far as to protect themselves with boundaries because of present situations. I get it. It's stating an intention to higher power, God, to say, I am confused, lost. Humbly, I'm asking for protection. That's beautiful. Always do that. In such a way, you are erecting yourself. Understand, when you try to protect yourself using fear, my dear, you are not clear. And what you fear will say, here I am. Here I am. That I am of yours has launched that fear of yours into your experience and says, here I am. And I am is present to show you exactly what you have offered out. Why? Because God always says yes. I want some more boundary reasons for boundary things. And God says, sure, you can have it. When you build a wall to protect yourself, that same wall you imprison yourself. And what you are doing is you are calling to the wall to give it an opportunity to climb over the wall so it could trickle into your life, possibly. You see, I told you I needed a wall of protection from people like this. Actually, it's people like you and like me and like we who find ourselves needing boundaries, living in foundries, trying to erect walls with steel, and we're beating frickin' metal with these anvils. Dang, dang, dang. And we effort, trying to mold, manipulate, and forge something into existence with persistence. Don't realize the distance we have created, so we have to swing the anvil even harder. Well, there will come a time to where you don't have the muscle mass or the capacity to swing an anvil hard enough. You might be old, so you don't have the muscle because you're old. Old meaning tired. Maybe you're simply tired of swinging the hammer, to trying to manipulate steel, to erect walls, to protect yourself from people, events, and situations, to prove to yourself, I told you I needed to erect this wall to keep this bad person out. But if you were successful at creating that wall, that person that you're trying to protect yourself from could never have climbed over the wall to infiltrate your experience. How well are those walls working for you? See? And in between everything I said in cadence of spirit, there is more information in the silence. Do you hear it? Wendy heard it. She said, oh my God, it's me. And I'm saying, oh my God, yes, God is you. You've made a conscious, creating, life-changing choice. The walls you put around you to protect you are the walls that will imprison you. Be careful with pseudo-spirituality. I'm calling Mike Archangel to protect me. I get it. I respect it. I am humble to that majesty, that grace from God. I get it. You start calling on people long enough, they will leave you there to deal with it yourself. Sometimes our loving parents kick us out of the nest. How often do you cry wolf? Big bad wolf is out there. You cry wolf enough, karmically he will visit you. Your house, which is symbolic for consciousness, can be blown down and be shattered. Tonight is Center of Light, elbow room. I need some room to breathe. Y'all need to stand back. Maybe you shouldn't have stepped in and then arrogantly, egoistically asking people to step back. I understand people also sometimes invade our innocent space. You have a right, divine birth right, to be in your sovereignty to say, bruh, chick, step back. But you are not relieved from the responsibility, the obligation, and the duty that in hindsight, you look at what happened, why it happened, and how you become fully sovereign, clear, to live in the power that does not require boundaries. Do you live in the power of what you really are at your essence, to where you do not require boundaries, which implies separation? There's no power in separation. United we stand, divided we fall. So there's no power in separation. But when you unite with said thing we're trying to protect ourselves from, it becomes part of our own power. It's an allyship. Everybody's cruising on the water to the same direction. What you're trying to protect yourself from is actually trying to show you a brand new grace. It wants to be your ally. What you're trying to protect yourself from is actually beckoning your ally. Stay away. Sometimes it is required. Sometimes it is required. Let's see what's happening on YouTube real quick. Dolores is everywhere because she's omnipresent. Dolores says green means go. Go back to the beginning of the presentation. You'll see what that is. Hello, Pamela. Like attracts like. So she says. So she's correct. Birds of a feather flock together. All right, y'all. My name is Keith Anthony Blanchett. Dolores asked Keith, people often talk about setting boundaries. I would like to explore that possibility. So we explored boundaries, and yet we have broken the walls. Actually, we didn't. We heard the call, and we saw that there was never a reason for a wall or a reason to erect one in the first place. I understand the immediacy of things. Treat yourself as such. But the eternally of things, treat yourself more so. You're not protecting yourself from anything. Ultimately, eventually, inevitably, you will have to complete with that aspect of yourself that you think you are protecting yourself from. You cannot put it off forever. You can't. Even when you're in a Himalayan cave, in a state of samadhi, not leaving, not using the bathroom, not eating food, you're in conscious union with God, you will be shown that big dog you've been running away from. And it will be as convincing, even though it's all in the realm of non-material matter. It will be, in your experience, in such a way, you will think you were back when running from that big dog. Trust me. There is no escape from yourself. Why would you want to? That's separation. The reason to build the wall. Return to your innocence, your purity, your childlike self. Give yourself permission to be you full out, full in. Be yourself, to be unpunished, to be unblemished, untainted, to be sainted, as you are now, forever will be, and were since when you came in. I understand when you were born, the first thing they did was slap you on your ass, and it hurt. Hence the reason you cried. Wow, what a strange world this is. I don't want to go, Mommy. Please take me back. If you want to go back, it becomes yours as a choice to make. Don't make the same mistake. You asked to come, so she said, you said you wanted your own apartment, Keith. You wanted to get out of the tree. So like a little bird, she used her knee, and we go to experience. And on the fall, we say, please take me. She goes, I paid too much money for that apartment. Go live in it for a month. Center of light, elbow room. You want breathing room inside of yourself. Have you been breathing? Have you been turning within yourself to see how much actual room there is in there? And I tell you, that room is infinite. The house of many mansions. If you think about what is possibly in there, you have shut the door. You have erected a wall, and you've lost sound earshot of the call. When you ask yourself, when you are inward, what is in here? If you get an answer, you've become Bob the Builder, and the wall simply erects. As you search within, Don't expect answers. What it in here is infinite possibility. You may have answers in the form of guidance, which is personally designed for you to hear. But as a yogi who is trying to steer themselves back homeward, questions, always ask questions. Ask open-ended rhetorical questions, because in the open-endedness of it all is the endless possibility of anything that could ever be. So what is in here? Oh, wow, you mean I can have this and I can have that? That's wonderful. That's human. And that's wonderful. That's divine in and of itself. You can still be human and be expanded into the divinity. So naturally, when you're in the divinity, what you think you want human-wise in human guise, if you're playing this arena, everything you think you can possibly want in this is completely fulfilled. Things you never thought possible. Be careful of the walls you erect. Tricia says, tear down the wall like Pink Floyd. Hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody in there? Not if you can hear me. There is no pain you are receding. Careful of the walls you erect. Become aware. Wendy, congratulations to you and everyone who is seeing the truth. Everything else is spiritual pseudoscience. You have to see. When you see that you, me, and we have been erecting erroneous walls like Wendy, in such recognition, they fall like castles in the air. They disappear. Make those walls of yours invisible. Then you become invincible. You're loved beyond measure.